Andros Brood. Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series where we look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. Today we're exploring the second episode of the show Power Rangers in Space, as well as the 252nd episode overall, titled From Out of Nowhere Part 2. We begin this episode right where we left off, with the Ranger teens and this mysterious Red Ranger running forward into battle against the Quantrons. They start fighting off the Quantrons, but they're getting their asses kicked against these dudes. Only Red is kinda decent against them. He realizes that the others are struggling and he almost gets attacked from behind, but Ashley calls out, saving him. The Quantrons have retreated for some reason, so they regroup. The Red Ranger powers down, revealing some dude. Ashley walks over and she pokes him, clearly confused about him. She says he's human, and he asks what she expected. She says he's not from Earth, and he says that Earth isn't the only place where humans live, which is actually a pretty interesting thought. He's from a space colony named KO-35. Cassie introduces herself, and Ashley immediately flirts with this dude. Carlos and TJ introduce themselves, and TJ tries to shake his hand, and then he ends up shaking it, revealing that his name is Andros. Deca calls and says that the damage assessment is done, so he leaves. Before the other Rangers follow, Cassie makes fun of Ashley for being shocked that Andros is a human, and Ashley points out that he could have been like a giant freaking lizard. Now that's how you do an unmorphed reveal. On the ship, Carlos gets Alpha all ready to go, and Deca is telling him what to do. Carlos gets shocked by Alpha's panel, and Carlos says it's super complex. Andros tells the others outside that there's no point in going to the Sumerian planet right now because they've already left. He was actually just there. Zordon is kidnapped by Dark Spectre and his powers are being drained, and the others point out that without Zordon, they're history. Andros then says it'll take some time to drain Zordon of all his powers, so they have some time. He refuses to acknowledge that they all have the same goal though. He even asks them inside what they know about space, and TJ admits nothing, and Andros walks away, testing the engines of the megaship. Carlos is having no luck getting Alpha's speech ports working, but Andros comes over looking at him. He then takes him away. Ashley asks where they go to next. Andros is working on Alpha, his voice changing throughout the process. Now Alpha has a new voice. Thank God. Alpha is excited about his new voice, and so is every member of the audience. Andros walks out and he's going to go check the space shuttle to make sure it can actually take them back to Earth. On the deck, Andros has Deca set the shuttle to Earth, and Ashley walks in. Ashley asks if he has a home like she has Earth, and he says no, refusing her help to even stand up. Andros doesn't like help. Andros Brood. Andros tells the others they have enough fuel and supplies to get back to Earth, and they all get into the elevator, getting ready to go. They wave a little bit to Andros, and he begins to take off in the Astro Megaship, leaving them behind. TJ says they have to go back to Earth to protect it, so they walk toward the shuttle. Then Ashley points out that Alpha is totally not there. They start freaking out that he's lost on this weird planet and they can't find him anywhere. Then Quantrons appear in front of them, so time for another fight in which the Ranger teens aren't doing so hot. Andros is telling Deca to put the Mega Accelerator to Hyper Rush 3. That's a fancy term. Alpha is there and Andros is confused as to why he's there. Alpha explains that the 5 of them have the exact same mission, so they should just be a team. Andros says that he works alone, and Alpha points out that if he wants to actually rescue Zordon, he'll need all the help that he can get. Alpha tells him to think about it, walking away. Bitch, where are you going? Then Andros has a blurry flashback to all the times that he's talked to TJ, Ashley, and Cassie. Fuck you, Carlos. He then turns the ship around as Alpha silently celebrates in the cutest way. Meanwhile, the Ranger teens are still struggling and it's not going so great. Just get in the shuttle and leave, guys. Explosions then go off, and here's Astronema walking into battle. Not very common that they meet face to face with the big bad in like the second episode. TJ demands to know who she is, and she introduces herself as their worst nightmare, Astronema. She asks where the Red Ranger went to Cassie, and Cassie tells her to buzz off, so Astronema says that she has no use for them then. She tells a Quantron to destroy them and she leaves. But then, here comes the Astro Megaship out of the sky and it's firing at the ground, so the Rangers run in front of a giant-ass explosion in slow-mo that's like way cooler than it should be. Then the Megaship lands and Andros runs over with Morphers. He hands them to the others, telling them to put them on, and then he delivers our new Morphin call. Let's rock it! 3-3-5. The Rangers morph into their new suits, with TJ now being the Blue Ranger and Carlos the Black Ranger. First Black Ranger since Mighty Morphin. Yes. The Rangers are all together again as a new team, so it's time for a cool new fight. We see Andros' Spiral Saber, and Carlos takes out his Lunar Lance, a really cool weapon. Ashley takes out her Star Slinger, while Cassie gets the Satellite Stunner. TJ gets the Astro Axe. I like all these new power weapons, even though Cassie's is just like a weird satellite gun. I mean, that's a little lame, but it's fine. They fend off all the Quantrons and the team regroup, talking about how it's not over. They then see that Quantrons are coming toward them in ships, firing. The Rangers run, collapsing onto the ground. Andros says to get back to the Megaship. Alpha has figured something out, and we see all the Rangers helmetless. Already? In space, you spoil me. They take off into the sky, and Andros has Deca scan for Astronema. She's found an unidentified spacecraft, and it's the same alien craft from before. They start firing at the Rangers, who are getting knocked around. The shields won't hold for much longer, but Alpha says he's broken the code for the Astro Megazord. He claims that the shuttle and the megaship go together because it was all part of Zoran's master plan. What? How? The Rangers are now in a cockpit magically, and they're forming the Astro Megazord while the theme song plays. They're being fired at during this, but it really does not matter. The Astro Megazord is online and ready to go. Astronema awkwardly says, "That was impressive," and then they just fire some more. They use the Astro Megazord saber, energizing the thrusters, so they go flying toward the ship. They slice the ship and it explodes. Like really explodes. Well, RIP Astronema, you didn't last long. In the ship later, Andros is explaining how Deca is technically all over the ship, and she starts talking about herself a lot, so Andros just mutes her. Well, that's rude. TJ asks where to start to look for Zordon, and Andros says that they need to repair the megaship. So they'll go to Earth to get help from neo-saban to get the ship up and running again. Also, the Rangers are all wearing space outfits that are very Star Trek-y, and I love them. Alpha sets the course for home, much to Deca's complaint, so he mutes her. Why is everyone rude to Deca? Now Astronema is just alive, apparently. She's in the Dark Fortress, seeing that they're heading for Earth. She will just destroy the whole planet if they have to. The end. This episode was a lot more action-packed and kinetic than the first part. The first part dragged ass. This one kicked it. There's a lot more of a complex storytelling going on here, with Andros clearly being a literal lone ranger while the others want to be a team, and I think the whole "you need help" thing was actually pretty well handled. Andros himself as a character is really interesting because he's very different from anything we've ever seen in Power Rangers before. I mean, he's very different from the other Rangers, obviously, and really, he's just a really big outlier in this entire cast. In a good way, not the bad way like Justin was. So they're heading to Earth now to get some parts to fix up the megaship. How will that venture go for them? Find out next time, but until then, may the power protect you.